it's going to be kind of a little sentimental to you?
Yeah, I guess it can get a little emotional. I mean, I'm trying to think about it right now. I got my mom come down, a couple of my sisters and brothers. 5 years, man. And, you know, they went by fast, but every good thing must come to an end. I'm actually ready to take the next step in my life. It's going to be really sad day to say goodbye to a lot of people.
What do you think you're going to miss the most? What do you miss the most about this place?
Oh, man. I had a lot of memories in this place. I mean, I don't know, man. It's little things like coming here and making the freshmen dance. You know, coming in here after a big win on Sundays and just watching film and enjoying and laughing, cold tubs, even running one team sprints with the team. It's a lot of things that I can, collect things back and just say, okay, I want to miss that, but I probably won't really think about it until it's all said and done.
What do you think this Saturday's game means and symbolizes to you and the other guys who are leaving as seniors?
Well, we got to win. I mean, that's one thing. When you win, you leave on top. That's even more memorable. But it's my last game as a Hurricane. That's my last home game. Obviously, going to go to a bowl game, but this is my last home game to kind of get that college atmosphere in. It's going to be sentimental. It's definitely going to mean a lot.
You like running through the smoke?
That's probably one of the things I'm going to miss most. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to do that again, whether here or in the NFL. But that's something I'm going to miss. That's one thing that kind of brought me to the university as a recruit. You kind of look at that and say, oh, that's awesome. So, that's something that I'll definitely miss.
Do you ever talk to Sam about the NFL and his transition from here to there, and you hoping to do the same? Have you talked to him at all about that big step?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's my best friend. We talk just about every other day, if not every day. He gives me a lot of insight on what really goes on and behind the scenes. And Sam, I'm proud of him because he's made a big step in his life and he's doing a lot better, on and off the field. And the transition that he made is something that I feel I can do. Me and Sam are alike in a lot of ways. And I'm anxious. I'm anxious to take the next step, and I'm anxious to see what God has for me in the next life, or next start of my life.
Is it helpful to have him making this type of move because you're saying goodbye to 5 years on campus, seeing the same people, and you've got a person on the other side who had to do that last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more inspiring than anything. Having somebody who it's hard. I mean, it's easy to see somebody on TV and say, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. But when you have somebody who you've grown with over the past 5 years and lived with and talked to every day and woke up with and, shared the same room with and they did it, obviously it can be a little bit more inspiring to you to say, hey, if Sam can do it, I can do it too. That's like my brother. So we're pretty close-knit on that. And I think, the fact that he did what he did is definitely inspiring to me to be able to say to myself I can do the same thing.
Ryan, we don't often get a glimpse behind the curtain a lot around here, but how have things changed, internally around here, places that we can't see, since you've been here? How have things changed?
When you look at it, I came in 2006. I came in with a group of guys who were great guys, on and off the field. There wasn't a whole lot of team camaraderie back then. You had a bunch of older guys who, maybe their mindsets were set on a certain thing, and you had a couple of young guys such as myself, Sam Shields, Javaris James, Jason Fox, and we came in at a period of time where things were kind of chaotic with the coaching staff, things going on off the field. And, I don't want to say we didn't have anybody to look up to, but there wasn't that really a team bond. And I think the one thing that Coach Shannon did when he came in was he kind of made an impact where everybody was kind of sticking together from the first start. He came in and he put everybody together. He didn't want DBs sitting with DBs. He wanted DBs sitting with linemen sitting with wide receivers. And that's something that kind of, it seems so minute, but it can really help a team gel. And I think from that point on, and helping guys become better men off the field, academics, and keeping their arrest rates down, and it's little things like that. That's what makes guys better. And I really think if you look at the past of guys like Javaris James, Jimmy and Sam, these guys have had the opportunity to better their lives, not just football players, but as young men. And I think that's one of the biggest things I give Coach Shannon credit to. You feel State, you wish you were having at this school. And I look back now, and I look back at what I've done on the field and off the field, and the experiences that I've had with people here, and I wouldn't trade it in for the world. I really would.
What's been the most disappointing part of this season? Just with there's been ups, there's been downs, but which part of the season disappoints you the most, would you say?
I mean, losing is one thing. I mean, you go into a game with all the expectations of we're able to win, we're going to win. But when you take a game like Virginia and you lose to guys who you know that you shouldn't lose to, I can kind of stomach Florida State and Ohio State. These guys amongst the nation's elite, just as we are. But to lose a game like Virginia, that's one game that kind of really stuck out to me. Like, I just didn't have any answer for it, and I just don't really understand how we lost that game.
What about the future here with the guys who will be here after you leave? Guys like Lamar Miller and Mike James and Seantrell Henderson. What do you see as the future here for some of these young guys?
Well, I can only hope that the guys before me and me myself have left a good impression on how to be leaders and how to work hard. I definitely think the program is headed in the right direction, and we've been saying that for a couple of years. And I realize that every team, every school has a letdown. I mean, you look at Florida State, USC, even Florida is even going back into a kind of relaxed mode. These guys here, they know how to work hard and they want to win, and that's something that I think if they have those two and they work hard and they want to win, it's gonna happen eventually. And I can't say pinpoint when, but I think if they just keep doing what they're doing and they keep believing in what the coaches are doing for them and trying to do for them and executing plays, I think it'll happen. These guys are great athletes, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guys in this room that are going to play on Sundays one day.
Brian, do you think the younger guys understand as well as you older guys who came in with him what Coach Shannon is like and why he does things he does? Do you think they understand? The young ones.
It's hard to say because I had to go through it myself my first 2 years, and we were dealing with so much. I mean, coming in as freshmen, and probably more so than these guys have had to deal with because they have a stronger foundation of coaches here, being here all the time. But I think that Coach Shannon, he's reaching out to them, and the program is reaching out to them, and they do have a sense. If the freshmen, if they don't get it all together, I think they will, and I think they'll get it faster than we did. It probably took me 2.5 years to kind of come around and say, okay, this is for real. This is football. This is life. This is I was knucklehead when I came in, and I think that it took me longer than these guys will. I think it'll take a little quicker to understand what this is really about, and I think that's what the program is headed in the right direction. It'll be better.
Fair to say you were in Coach Shannon's doghouse early on?
I wasn't in his doghouse. I was in his kennel. Coach Shannon wouldn't even talk to me, man. We would pass by each other, and he'd probably look at me, say something like that. But we've grown, and I love him to death, and I'm sure he loves me, and we talk all the time. And I know there's not a thing I wouldn't do for him. I'm sure he feels the same way.
Do you explain to the younger guys, because you hear sometimes about some of the younger players maybe being frustrated, maybe they haven't played, you hear about people transferring and all that. Do you sit and talk to them, the older guys, and explain how it is, or you don't?
I try my best. Like, when I hear certain things, I try to take a player individually, and I'll say, man, okay, listen, I understand that, you feel like you're not playing and whatnot. And it's always good for them to hear from an older guy, especially a guy who's been through it. You can take a guy who's an All-American, but if he's telling a young guy, I understand how it is not play, but he's never done it. It's kind of looks like you're not really understanding. But from a guy like myself who's been through the whirlwind, here, there, down at the bottom, up the top, I think they get more of an understanding, and I think that's one gift that I have. I can reach out to younger guys, and I feel like they understand me when I talk to them.
And 2006 was your first year?
My first year.
So that was a crazy year, right? Brian got killed, then you had to fight. And
Coop got shot, and coaches getting fired, and the list goes on and on, man. I think I look back and see how much stuff happened in that 1 year, and to see how we responded, and we didn't go to bowl game the next year. It's crazy, and to see my class of guys who are now playing in the NFL or graduate or whatnot, how they transformed from that. That was a shell shock to a lot of people, and that could have put a lot of people under the bus because a lot of guys don't know how to handle that. You come from prestigious high school where you're always winning, and all of a sudden you come into a program and all that stuff happens at one time. That can be very dramatic to a player and his success on the field.
You feel like you guys achieved, considering where you were at in the 4 years that you've been here? You've achieved enough to be proud of?
That's a real serious question. I think we've gotten better, and in a sense, you can't say we achieved. I'm proud to say we moved on. And we've gotten better. And you look at Coach Shannon and what he did when he came in, winning 2 more games every year. I know that really seems small, but that's a step forward. And anytime you take a step forward, I think you have to be proud of yourself because you didn't allow yourself to go back.
How about this year? The chance, I guess, of matching last year's record, is that kind of...
Our hopes were high for the year, and we thought we were going to double our wins, win 2 more games, and obviously we're not going to have a chance to. you know. But at the same time, it's also a judgment of character. You know, football is a sport. I mean, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Unfortunately, we were in a position where we lost 4 games this season. And if you ask me, anybody else on my team, we wouldn't have wanted to lose 4 games. But I think that we have to stand strong. We have to admit our wrongs and look at ourselves and say, okay, take responsibility for what it is. We made those decisions. We made these bad plays or whatever happened to cause us to lose a game. And you just can't put yourself in you can't go into a mode of solitude. You gotta push on, man, and that's what life's about.
You get a feeling that people are going to look at this game and really judge you guys as a team based on what you do this last game?
Yeah, yes and no. Anytime you're an athlete, it sucks, I guess, because you get based off your performances. I mean, and so many people judge you based off that. And they have the right to. I mean, you know, that's what calling is for. I mean, everybody has a different role. There's players, there's coaches, there's radio talk show hosts, and everybody has a different role. So, I mean, if they want to judge us based off this one game, they can. But, I mean, we know in our hearts, and we know what we've done this season and what it has taken us to get to this point. And we know what we'll do next year. And these guys, I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun playing in this game, and I'm sure they'll get better next year and have a wonderful season.
Ryan, you guys judging yourselves off how you finish? Is that pretty much the way the team feels? You would say we got to finish strong.
Yeah, I mean, I broke it down this morning on finish strong, and that's probably our motto for the week is just finish strong. You know, I mean, this is a game where kids are gonna probably go home for Thanksgiving, and there might not be as many people there, but we got to fight for what's in our hearts, you know, and fight for us. So that's our motto for the week.
Ryan, do you care at all what bowl? You know you're going to a bowl already. Does it matter what bowl you go to? You just want to go to a different one. You know it's not a major one, but how do you feel about that?
I mean, a bowl game is a bowl game. I mean, obviously, you know, I would lie to you say that we want to go to a BCS bowl game, but you know, it's a blessing to have the opportunity to go to a bowl game. You know, the expectations here in Miami are so high. You know, national championship, BCS bowl game, but we're not going to have that opportunity, obviously. So you can't just sit here and say, okay, we're going to go to a bowl game and say we don't care about it. No, you want to go into this bowl game, you want to enjoy yourself. It's going to be around holiday time, it's Christmas time, I guess, and you're going to go out there and you're going to compete. I mean, because I think the last thing that, you know, Hurricane fans, the real Hurricane fans would want us to do is go out here and be lackadaisical and lose. We haven't won a bowl game in 2 years, so I think the best thing we could do is go out here and try to win this one and come out on top and really finish the season strong.
El Paso or Orlando? Which one sounds more appealing?
I've never been to El Paso, so I probably have to say El Paso. You know, I'm a guy who likes to try different things. You know, I can go to Orlando anytime, just train the car up and go. But I mean, it's gonna be fun, man. We're gonna make the best of it. Whichever one they allow us to be in, man, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be, you know, excited for it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna give 100%.
Thanks, man.